Yes, hello friends. Good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are. My name is Daniel Mulondo and I'm here to take you through this exposure, of course, with the founder and the vision bearer of MitroPlus Labs family, Mr. Ivaibi Festo, also known as Sem Festo. Where did you get that name from? Sem.
Yes, Sem.
Yes.
It's from my former email address. I used to struggle with opening up email addresses and I forget my passwords all the time. So I opened the same.
So, Sem Festo.
It's not really anything to do with
You're
names.
joking with billionaires. I think you've seen how they get their names. So you are opening a lot of emails, forgetting their passwords.
Yes.
So you decided to call them Sem Festo.
Yes, I was still so young then.
And by the way, people have known you for that name. And
Yeah, most of
if
them.
Ivaibi, they don't know it.
Most people call me Sem. That's okay.
So they think that it's a biological name.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Wow. So today we're going to talk about the two tech giants, which is Meta and also Twitter. Of recent, Mark Zuckerberg launched his new platform called Thread. And also, Elon Musk has been putting together the Twitter as a platform that is known for legit and genuine information. So today we're going to discuss about that topic of discussion to get to understand how is it affecting our lives and how Africans are being able to participate. Is it something that we should be worried of, or is it something that is a blessing in disguise? So before I cross to Festo, please go and subscribe to all the MitroPlus Labs channels on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Telegram, on which one else?
Discord.
Discord channel.
Yes.
All of these platforms, just put at MitroPlus Labs. You'll be able to get the genuine platforms. And also you can subscribe at Sem Festo on Twitter so that you follow up this new billionaire in town who has given a chance to the Africa's continent and also the young people. Get information about the digital innovations, the inclusivity in the Web3 economy, because his vision is to see that Africans are able to sit home on their computers, handsets, phones, tablets, and they start making money because it's proven that the concept of internet or internet of things, it has really changed to a level that there is internet of value where you can make money from. So with me tonight, we've hosted Mr. Festo Ivaibi, also known as Sem Festo. So let's start from there. Upon these two tech giants, what's your take? First, give us some insights on the thread itself and also vis-a-vis Twitter.
Well, Twitter is a text conversation-based application. And as we look at things, Twitter has been a monolith. There have been several other small text conversation-based applications, but Twitter has been enjoying a monogamy in its game. It has taken almost 99.9% of the market share of this kind of application.
Wait a minute, you're taking me to the tweet which Elon Musk made of recent that competition is okay, but copying it's not okay for him. So what's your overview on that?
I believe these are two tech giants trying to fight for a spot of being on top of the social media game. Yeah, and when you look at Meta has always found ways of staying on top of the curve, of having the largest community and influencing the social media community. So social media is like an ocean, and there are whales in it.
Okay.
And every country, every other small company that has come up with a brilliant idea, it has been swallowed up by these whales. Take, for instance, when WhatsApp came and Instagram came, it was bought by Facebook right away to become a part of its
ecosystem
application family. And now look at how they have grown. And this is the reason why I think...
1 billion people?
Yes.
And beyond now.
So this is the reason why I think Facebook has excelled, and USA has stayed on top of comparing with the other countries that are also in the social media industry, like China has WeChat, and it has...
Wait a minute. How come that China, they've built their ecosystem on the WeChat? Because with WeChat you are able to pay. It's a payment gateway, it's a money remittance platform, it's a social platform, you are able to network. Do you think that also Africa has to copy, borrow a leaf from the West or to the US? Yeah,
I think Africa has to copy and borrow a leaf. It's no surprise that China has built something like that, because the government of China supports their innovations, and it also tries to ration the use of other applications if they have something that is Chinese in their country. And this is something that has helped China to always compete favorably with the USA. And when you look at the look of things, we have given a lot of power, immense power to these people, to these organizations. They literally know all your kind of choices. For example, they know your taste in music, they know your taste in foods, and some of these choices are really harmless, but there are those that can harm your business, that can harm your social status and everything. Like, for example, most of the social media giants know your take, if you're pro-abortion or not. They know your religious beliefs, and they know several other things that you actually don't even know yourselves.
Exactly.
In years ago, we used to use thumbprints. Up to now, thumbprints to open our phones. So they know your thumbprint, and you don't know how your thumbprint looks like.
Exactly.
They have your eye print. You use facial recognitions. They know how your face is structured more than you do.
Exactly.
So they have
the Irish.
They have so much power. They have
so they control our identity.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly, and you know, they can use this to do anything that they want, absolutely anything. Like, for example, bend the world towards where they want the world to go, and bend countries to certain decisions they don't want, the countries might not want to take. So there's immense power that has been given to these social media giants.
Let's talk about Thread. Thread is a new thing in town. For those of you who are not on Thread, use your Instagram account and you join Thread. Thread is a new application. I may not say it's in competition with Twitter, but they're always doing similar work.
Yes, please. And
in
also,
okay, carry on.
And also, please join us there. Find MitroPlus Labs on Threads. We are there.
MitroPlus is already there.
Yes. If you have an Instagram account, you get to also be able to open up the Threads account. It was a brilliant idea by Meta.
Okay.
Yes.
When you look at on 5th of July 2023, isn't that 1 week ago?
Yes.
Mark Zuckerberg made a tweet that in a space of 1 to 3 days, they have been able to register 30 million people.
It was actually within 24 hours, they registered 30 million active users on Threads.
Can you imagine?
Within 7 hours, they had registered 10 million users.
What's your take on that in regards to the innovations? More so in these developing countries.
I believe the fourth industrial revolution has more to do with the communities. And it's also the reason why I think Elon Musk bought Twitter, because he needed he needed to have a community so large so that he can be able to if a digital world, if people are going to be able to live digitally at some point, he will have already a community large enough, more than many countries.
Wait a minute, let me give you a scenario. I was sharing with someone and I told him, look, Uganda got independence in which year?
1962.
And since then, we are independent, isn't it? And our population has grown to a tune of about 45 million Ugandans. Can you imagine the digital economy of Thread achieved 30 million people in a space of 24 hours?
In a space of 24 hours. And it has achieved 100 million people in a space of just 5 days.
What?
100 million people in a space of just 5 days. So it is bigger than some of our economies. They control more people than some of our countries. And
now, there comes my question. Is there anything that we as Africans have to do so that we compete with the global trends? Because, see, a nation that has been here for so many years, we have only 40 million people, and a platform, an online platform, has achieved 100 million people in a space of 5 days.
I think we need to start supporting African technology and innovations. And this is all going to begin with learning about innovations and technologies like blockchain, metaverse, AI, so that we can start influencing things, so that our governments can start influencing things towards the future. I have been actually or sharing with one of the government officials who said that, who asked me if we should be worried about social medias and what is happening. And I told him we should have gotten worried 10 years ago. Because right now, staying away from social media is pointless. Almost everyone is there. We have already given these companies that power. But it's time for governments to start controlling.
Someone will tell you that Facebook in Uganda is blocked.
Yes. So it's time for government and other legislators to start kind of helping out how we, to which extent people can use social medias, and they should align this usage with our social values and human values, and in every country, because every country has values. And when you look at some countries, the algorithms of some things in social media are not allowed in some countries, especially like in countries like China. There are things that they won't allow you to watch in China on TikTok.
Oh, so I get your point. For example, when we were still growing up, our relatives, our mother, used to make sure that she exposes us to everything. Let's say when they're preparing food and you want to touch somewhere on a cooking stove. So next time you learn that this thing is too hot, so I shouldn't tamper with it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say that the governments across Africa, they're supposed to not to limit, but not to block, but to try and mentor the users of these platforms?
Have to try to guide the trajectory of these platforms.
To influence.
Yes, where they are taking us.
What goes there.
Yes, so that we can benefit from the outcomes that they should give us, and then mitigate the risks and the negative impacts that these platforms can cause. This is why I said aligning them in our cultural values and also human values at the same time.
What's the difference between Twitter and
the difference is really not so big, because according to the look of things, to me it looked like Zuckerberg just pressed the Ctrl+C then Ctrl+V button. That is the copy and paste.
No wonder Aaron is crying.
Yeah, but again, when you look at it, Meta has all the ingredients it needs to just pull up a haste like this, to just pull up a competition big enough for Twitter. When you look at things, Twitter is, online active Twitter subscribers are approximately 400 million subscribers. And Meta made this brilliant move that everyone that will subscribe onto Threads will have an Instagram account.
Oh.
And guess how many people are on Instagram? How many active users are on Instagram?
Man, the number is enormous.
2.3 billion people.
What?
2.3 billion active users on Instagram. So now if you can just imagine, if 1 out of 10 people that are on Instagram sign up to Threads, they have already surpassed Twitter by far.
Exactly. I was trying to get some of the facts here. Kindly, if you have a fact, you can share it with us and we read it. Someone was saying that you cannot slide into anybody's DMs. For example, while Threads looks and feels a lot like Twitter, there is still no direct messaging feature. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. I believe it was timing. Many companies have started just because they want to seize an opportunity of when there is a need. Let's not forget that that recently Twitter rolled out and limited the usage or the engagement of users.
The users'
engagement. And also Elon Musk is like driving this Twitter to being a paid application.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of things Threads has not finished as an application, and if a person like me and several other people that are not developers can also cite out things that Threads has not yet done. Of course, we should also learn that Zuckerberg and his team already know that these things are not yet done. Like for example, I also noted that you cannot crop or trim a video using the Thread application yet. You must upload a video there that is 5 minutes or less. Then it will take it. But you cannot try to upload a video that is more than those minutes and then trim it to those minutes. So right now they saw a window where there was bad blood with Twitter, and then they had to seize that opportunity for their entry. To me, I think it was perfect timing, and all these things are updates. Threads is going to be able to update everything.
Okay, someone is saying that Threads wants you to stay in a happy bubble. Do you think that is true?
I think that is true, because when you look at the things, Facebook has always done anything to stay on top of the curve. You heard about its acquisition of WhatsApp and Instagram. There were applications that showed a lot of potential, and as well Facebook is, it swallowed up these applications. I mean, they bought these applications off. And in its ecosystem, it did not have a text conversation-based app. And some of the people that were only interested in this one off the Meta network. So here, it also has to encroach on that. So by the time Meta rolls out its metaverse comprehensively, it will have a population as big as 3 billion people onto their Meta.
I see now how they are pushing it.
Yes.
But now someone is asking you a question that Thread was almost called Instagram Notes. What's the difference between Instagram and Thread? Because to a layman, someone might think that these are the same applications.
Instagram is more of a picture and comment-based application, but Threads is a text-based conversation application. So people are able to create short conversations and on Threads, just like Twitter does.
Okay.
And short conversations, just like Twitter does, and they follow up with Threads. And actually, the name Threads was brilliant, because you cannot talk about Twitter and then not mention Threads.
Because Twitter Threads are down here.
Yes.
But where the challenge? Okay, it's not a challenge. Probably it could be a blessing. When you join, automatically your people from Instagram, they follow you.
Yes.
Those who have joined already, or maybe much earlier before you. So Do you think that it's a strategy that will
Yes,
drive traffic?
That's another brilliant thing. I mean, you do not have to labor so much to follow people you have been following already. And those people that have been followed massively, they do not have to labor so much to still build a very big following. So you come up with almost all your following here on Threads. And it just won't feel like you're doing the work once again. So, like I was saying earlier, Meta has all the ingredients to just be the direct competition with Twitter. First of all, Meta has very deep pockets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very deep pockets, so it has the funds to pull off this.
And they have the data.
It has the data, it has the community. 2.3 billion people on Instagram versus the 400 million people on Twitter. So it won't be a surprise.
Would you want to say that Jack Dorsey scammed Elon Musk?
I think Elon Musk bought this not because of the valuation of Twitter, but because of what he sees, where the world is going.
Oh, the value.
Yes, we are going to need, the fourth industrial revolution is going to need you to have a community. And as someone that sees ahead, we already bought you and me in this community.
That's a very powerful statement. Those of you who are watching us, forget about what you studied from school. The world that we are going into, it's a data-driven economy. And how much data do you have? How many followers do you have? Your politician is trying to get data, is trying to get followers. Your religious leader is trying to make sure that there is a following, because where we are going, the world is going to base on the communities and the following you have. So I think having social media platform, presence, it's a no-brainer for a business and individuals.
Yes, for a person like Elon Musk, just to have about 100 million followers that he cannot control, it wasn't going to serve him best at the position where he is. I mean, he is number one in according to Forbes. Yeah? So it was in his best position to buy a giant or a big social media application, so that he can, with this, they can decide to litter any kind of topic in their application. Like, for example, Facebook littered around Threads everywhere. And there's no surprise that Threads got 10 million sign-ups in just 7 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So it is that simple. The power is in the hands of those that have the largest community. And it's also going to be, when we get to a digital world, it's also going to be in the hands of communities that are large enough to influence, to mimic the physical world, or to influence how humans live their lives.
Kindly portray a trajectory for these technologies. Where do you see them? Are you seeing a cross line somewhere, or they're all going to be relevant, Thread and Twitter?
It depends on how the administration will be, but for now the biggest with the largest community is still winning. Like they put it, it's a cage fight between the tech giants. Yeah, some of them might have, some of them might fall out.
Wait a minute, is that cage fight is going to happen, or it's just a mental fight?
I think it might or might not happen. I really don't know, but right now what we're having is this.
I see Mark Zuckerberg is training and Elon Musk is also training.
Right now it's this stage fight, and there's no surprise that they want to get people onto their social media followings by displaying these things of I am training and I am doing this. A lot is going on.
Wow. Yeah. So for those of you who have just joined us, we are tackling a point here, the fight amongst these tech giants. Twitter, we've seen Twitter, and also the expert is giving us information on the new application called Thread. Follow all your friends. You might also see Mito Plus Labs there. Go follow it. Follow Ivaibi. Are you using Ivaibi Festo or
Sam.Festo is on Instagram.
Okay, Sam.Festo, Mulondo Daniel, and everyone, please go and be part of this journey. As we are coming back home here, I see the power of social media. I see the power when we organized this conference, the East African Digital Innovation Summit, in 3 countries. Most of these people were invited online. I saw what happened in Kampala here, where thousands of people came, and they were invited online through sharing a poster in their accounts. Do you think that social media has that power to control a lot of things? And do you think that it's a shortcut to businesses in Africa?
Yes, I think social media does that and way more, has that much power and way more, because they put your message directly into your pocket through your handheld devices. Yeah, and with the introduction of AI, your device is actually listening in to know exactly what is going to interest you, and it's what they will bring directly onto your screens.
Isn't that privacy?
It is privacy, but remember there is also a way of rationing this privacy. And many people have chosen to leave their privacy settings to on OK. They can have shared data, and some have decided to switch them off. Yes, so it depends actually on how you want. But you find that you also get a better service when you switch them on. So it's really interesting. It's really
actually I was
interesting.
Some time back, maybe 10 years ago, I was imagining how Google is trying to pick all the data they have. And it's us who contribute towards this. Every time when I travel from, let's say, here to up country, and my Google location is on, they're picking data. So, do you think that Africa has to also come up with some such innovative ideas?
Yes, and sadly we usually come up with innovative ideas, but we haven't been supported so much by our governments. For example, with tax subsidies and protection of these entrepreneurs from the claws of these other tech giants that are out there. Because when you look at how the US protects its techpreneurs, it is they protect them jealously, like their own. Yeah, if a techpreneur like Mark Zuckerberg is going to another country, the whole of the US knows he is followed.
So he's an asset.
He's an asset to the country. You see, but which is a bit different. When you look, Africans have actually been a part and parcel of these applications that we use. They have been a part and parcel of designing these applications that you see, and the updates of these applications that we see. But they are not doing. We are not doing these things in Africa. We are doing them in the Silicon Valley.
Why? And that's the question. Why?
And it's the same thing with.
Is it an
India.
Environment, or?
It's the same thing with India also. They're also doing these applications in the Silicon Valley. Indians and Africans are working for these big tech giants. There is a text conversation based app that is like Twitter in India called Call. It is if you look it up, you can actually display Call. Yes, K-O-O.
Call.
Yes,
okay.
You will see it. It hasn't gotten enough traction, just like Twitter. Yet there's a lot. Indians are in the billions, and there's a lot of Indians that are working for Twitter in the Silicon Valley. They are working for several other companies like Facebook, like Instagram, in their main offices, and they haven't. The government has not supported these small cropping up national companies because they have not yet seen the power that these social media giants have over us.
So it's a challenge from the regulators and the environment.
And Africa has been so blind to also notice that the world is being controlled by data. And after data comes the power of value or money.
Oh yes.
There are some
because you have data, you have research, you are able to know. Let's say if I'm gonna deal with youths between 15 to 20 years.
I used to avoid social media, but once I learned there are two companies that control our governments and you and me and everyone around us, I decided that they actually know everything. They have They have my eye print, they have my thumbprint, they have my facial grid and everything. So why now hide anything? Let it be in the open. Let's all go through with it.
Wow.
And these companies are not Facebook and they are not Apple.
Do you think that which companies are those?
These companies are actually the middlemen between the US government and the Wall Street, and they control the whole money. This is BlackRock and Vanguard.
What?
If you invest in Facebook, you're giving money to BlackRock. If you invest in Twitter, you're giving money to Vanguard. You're giving money to BlackRock. They are the biggest stake or shareholders of these biggest companies. If you invest in Apple, you're still giving money to Vanguard and BlackRock. They are the biggest shareholders in these companies.
What?
So they control the world. They control 96% of the world's assets. They literally determine what you do and how you live your life and everything that revolves around you.
Well, someone may be in Nairobi, somewhere there, very in a remote place, or Ghana or Accra, or Nigeria, in one of the states, or Uganda even, and they're like, does this conversation has to do with me? Is it healthy? Is it beneficial to me? Do you think that Africans should be worried as individuals? Or should get concerned, not being worried, but getting concerned?
Well, I think we should have gotten worried 10 years ago, just like I said earlier. And right now, we have already given this much power. We already have our thumbprints registered in many of these telecommunication giants. Our eye prints registered, our facial grids registered, and everything. And them controlling a big number of the population in Africa and knowing so much more than even what our governments know about us is already enough to influence our decision making, to influence the products that we take in, to influence the goods that we sell to them. So even a farmer way deep down in the village is impacted by the decision on whether they should buy Uganda's coffee or not, depending on the data these people have picked, depending on how much people export this coffee. They can determine the price because they already know that this coffee moves from this place to this place to this place to this place.
This is the chain.
This is the chain. Yeah, so they can control, they will be able to control soon the economies of our countries by 90%. Right now, probably they control us by between 40 to 45%. Most of our decisions depend on how they are going to be perceived by these superpowers and these giants.
Wow. We are coming to the top of this conversation. Of course, we are summarizing. Today we've had Festo. We are having Festo in our studios, and he's trying to demystify for you, you understand the power of these tech giants. And one of them is Meta and Twitter. Twitter, they're in business, but they've been monopolizing Twitter. Right now, Facebook has come up with a new application called Thread, and it has gained a lot of traction from the young people and companies across the world. So that's okay. I believe you guys who have been watching us, you've really learned a lot from Mr. Sam Festo. Today, as we've been sharing about these two tech giant companies, which are really pushing the economy to the next other side of business. So we look forward to see you soon in our, let's cross briefly to Mito Plus. We must thank you so much for what you're doing. Of recent, we've had very good feedback from our learners. Hundreds of them have been fired up to start something. And what plans are in place right now? Because you've traveled from Dubai, and
actually, the thanks shouldn't come to only me. It's a team behind. There are very many people behind this movement of Mitro Plus Labs to create blockchain awareness all through Africa, because we believe that technology has the ability to transform how we live, and we would love to see a better continent, and we would love to see Africa take a good spot or a good place in this fourth industrial revolution. Yeah, there is a very large team, so we have all the thanks go to the team. Yeah, so Mitro Plus Labs we have our goal is to guide the trajectory of blockchain, of metaverse, of artificial intelligence, and limit the abuse of these technologies and secure the most broadly beneficial outcomes. So we are doing this through our 8 projects, through the translations of these technologies in our local languages, African languages, like Igbo, like Luganda, Kinyarwanda, Congo.
I was about to ask you a question. How would you say blockchain in one of the languages?
Okay.
But it's okay.
We have experts. We have experts for that.
Oh,
yes. And we also doing this on the online academy. We already have 800 plus students all over Africa, and all our services are free for these students learning about blockchain and blockchain development, financial indicators, and everything. Then we'll have.
They're all free.
They're all free.
So someone has just to plug.
Yes.
Learn and.
Yes, because we want to create the largest blockchain drive in Africa, so that we can get a big enough voice to influence policy formulation, to influence exchanges that work in Africa, to influence recognition of the biggest blockchain houses in the world. Awesome. Yes, we also have the Gorilla Hub. Gorilla Hub is to fund African startups within the fields of blockchain, metaverse, and artificial intelligence, and Web3. Yes, and we also have the Gorilla Hunt. This is us teaming up with the most powerful blockchain houses in the world, so that they can come and make a footprint in Africa and find an African market. Find African markets already set for their kind of technology and their kind of services. We have the regulatory aid working with the governments towards policy formulation, and also guiding guiding the trajectory of how this technology is supposed to influence the human lives, and aligning it with our culture and human values as a continent. And we also have the media and publications. We are going to license a TV channel that is going to be watched by millions of people. All these projects that we've talked about are all going to be aired live. For example, Market Mania, Gorilla Hub, Gorilla Hunt, we're going to be airing them live on our TV channel and our social media broadcast. And as you see, as you know, blockchain is one of blockchain's biggest virtues is transparency. This is why we are going to use social media and our TV channel to always keep our services within the people of Africa. Yes.
Wow, that's really amazing. We commend you and the team. We give them a big shout wherever they are in Africa. Thank you so much. We look forward to have another conversation with you, of course.
Yes.
I hope you're not coming up with a needle, because someone has invented a thread.
We will support several other. We are looking at companies that can become unicorns in Africa, so that we can be able to rely on African solutions as well.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really amazing.
So we aim at supporting African techpreneurs as well. And actually, the Western world is also open at supporting African techpreneurs. I think this is something that
they're looking for allies.
Yes. The blockchain space is still very young, and it's still looking for a lot of allies.
So we should prepare more young people to innovate, invent on blockchain, but not trading alone, but they can go into creating solutions.
Yes.
For example, in health sector, of recent we saw Mr. Quest in farming, Noah and his team, they're into KYC and
that's exactly what we are doing. At MitroPlus, we teach everything so that you can get your strength. In your field, you will find your strength because you cannot be strong in all areas.
Okay.
Yeah, like a very great wise man once told me that where I am weak, you are strong. Where you are weak, I am strong. Awesome. So this is a virtue that we also go by as MitroPlus Labs with. We go with this virtue.
Well,
so as an African, as a Pan-African enterprise, we hold this very dear and near that we will work together as a community, as Africans, to be able to move our continent forward.
Well, thank you so much. Kindly, if you are a new person, go find these solutions at MitroPlus Labs and watch. But also don't forget to share with other people, because sharing is caring. If you don't help your young generation with this kind of technologies, of course they're going to be slaves where we're going. So train them, let them be masters, and let them understand how to manage the game. God bless you. See you soon. Have a lovely day.